everyone, I'm Amanda. First of all, it's really cool being up here and seeing all the different companies that are coming and learning. We've got Better Homes and Garden here, Nebraska Realty, Keller Williams, both branches. I mean, it's really awesome to see some of the top producers out here. I had the opportunity to sit down with all of these people in the last couple of weeks and kind of learn from them. And I probably spent 4 hours with them, and I don't think 45 minutes is going to be enough for you guys to grab from them. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to have them introduce themselves, give them a background on how their year is looking, and then I'm also going to have them tell you guys the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to them while they're working in real estate. So, Brittney, if you want to start.
Oh, goody. Okay. So my name is Brittney McAllister, and this year, my team, there's 4 of us, so I do all the listings. I have a full-time buyer's agent that does all the buyer business, and then we've got 2 admin support that help us keep us in line. This year, so far, year to date, we have 106 transactions for about $36 million, so really cool so far. Thanks, Kobe. Okay, so my most embarrassing story, they rank all right up there. I have a whole bunch, so if you ever want to chat about them, but one embarrassing thing. So the first time I ever got to go show a house, I was so excited. I don't know if you guys had phone duty still, if that's still a thing, but I was on phone duty. Someone called, they wanted to go see a house, and I was pumped. I was like, yeah, I can show you, let's go. I'm on my way to the house. I specifically know where I was driving. I called my mom. If you guys know Sheila, everyone send her a message. Tell her she's the best mom ever. Love Brittney. I'm on the phone with my mom, and I was like, I'm so excited. I get to go show a house. She's like, oh my gosh, who's the listing agent? I was like, well, I don't know. She's like, well, did you set up the showing? I was like, you have to set it up? And she's like, well, they're just going to show up? You think the sellers aren't going to be home? I'm like, well, you didn't tell me that part. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I did do that part. So everyone starts somewhere. So that's my embarrassing story.
How are you guys doing? My name's Nico Marasco. I'm an individual with a licensed assistant. Pending and closed this year, we're at 68 units for $39.9 million. So, my most embarrassing story. So, I do some work with CHI where they'll fly a doctor in and try to sell them on the job. Then I try to sell them on the city. And this was about a couple years ago. I had a doctor in from Arizona, so I was giving him a tour around Omaha. And at the time, my mom was actually moving to Arizona, so I was telling them a story how when her realtor was driving them around, they got in a car accident. They're like, oh, and we started laughing, like, how awkward would that be? Oh my God, it's so uncomfortable. 45 minutes later, someone ran a red light and T-boned me in my car. All the airbags go off, and I'm like, so everything's going crazy, and all of a sudden the passenger door of the car rips open, and this guy ducks his head underneath the airbag curtain. He's like, is everybody okay? I'm a doctor. My client's like, I think we're okay. I'm a doctor. I'm like, I need an attorney. I don't need any more fucking doctors here. So, but all went well. Never saw that guy again, ever. So, did not sell him a house. Lost a car. It was great. Good time.
My name is Kail Walker. I'm with PJ Morgan Real Estate. We have a small team, the Rise Omaha Real Estate Group. I'm honestly not sure what our numbers are. I know I'm at about 35 deals closed this year so far. I think our team's probably at around 100. And so, thank you. My most embarrassing story is probably the fact that I had a person that I've never shown a house to, I've never met them before. It was a lead that I got, and I was running late to the appointment, like probably all of us realtors do too often. And I accidentally cut this gentleman off when I was driving, a random gentleman that I didn't really think, who it was. Pull up to the showing, and he shows up right behind me, and he was not happy about that. So that's probably my most embarrassing thing, is that I cut off my client that I didn't know was my client at the time. So.
Did he buy a house? Oh, yeah. Kail, did he buy a house through you?
He did.
Oh.
He did.
My name is Megan Owens. I'm an individual agent with a licensed assistant. I'm at $43.3 million for the year and 142 units. My most embarrassing moment is when I was going to do an open house, and I usually get there about 15 minutes early. So I was there, tried to open the door, got the key dropped down underneath the deck, and there was no way to get to underneath the deck because everything was like boarded up. So I have like a thing in my car is trying to dig it out. Pretty soon somebody comes for the open house. I've yet to get the door open. And so then he's trying to get the key, and pretty soon everyone's trying to get the key. There's a line out the door. Had to call the seller. There's no garage code. Seller had to come home. 30 minutes later, everybody formed into the open house, and now I hang on to every single key very carefully before I open the door.
Hi everyone, I'm Skyler Bauer. I am 2 years into the business. In that time, I've done 24 million in sales volume. I'm at Berkshire Hathaway and the Bradley team as well. Embarrassing story is I like to do video and I like to do home tours, but you got to be careful. I was doing a home tour of quite a big house, and it was an open house, and I was going down the stairs, and I'm like, look at this awesome basement, foof, and I just fly down the stairs. Luckily it was a big enough house that no one was really there to see, but I was so embarrassed. Had to limp around the rest of the day, so.
Did you post the video?
I did post the video. Me following.
I wanted to start that way because if you guys are like me, I look up here and I just see such inspirational people, and it's like, how can I relate to those people? And they are all in the same position as us at one point, and I just thought it'd be kind of funny to hear all of that. So we're gonna kind of dive into a bunch of different topics. If you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to them. Follow every one of them on social media, Instagram, Facebook. And this group of individuals very willing to give you information, so reach out to them, ask them what they're doing, ask them what they're having success with. So first off, we're gonna start off with Skyler. You've kind of hit it already. You do a lot of videos. You've been in the industry for only 2 years. You're in that generation where you just record everything and hit send. How do you figure out what you're gonna post online? And just kind of talk us through that if you can.
Yeah, I think you got to start off with video, and being in video is inherently vulnerable. So you got to get over that fact. You're going to be in front of the camera, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you think every part of your business until you get good at it, you are also uncomfortable with doing that. Is it phone calls? Was it showing open houses? Was it sellers' appointments, meeting with them? You're uncomfortable, right? So getting over that fear, the way I try to do video is, one, I want to study and search what's going on, right? What's going on? What are these guys doing? What are industry leaders posting on video? And how can I recreate that? There's a number of ways you can do Keeping Current Matters. We've already touched on it with Answer the Public, where you type in the topic, and it'll show countless questions on that topic. And those are all video ideas. After I usually find the thing I'm gonna do the video on, immediately I have this little voice in the back of my head that I have to kill. I gotta kill it. Like, oh, you didn't get your hair cut. You're not as good looking as Kail. Like, what am I gonna do? I have to kill that voice, right? And that's, I think as real estate agents, we get in our own way too much, right? If it's video or anything, you gotta get out of your own way. And then I touched on it, you also have to be in the video. So the next step was, you gotta be in it. Right? How are they going to trust you? How are you going to create market share if you're just showing pictures or just showed? You got to put your face in there. You got to get in front of your clients. You got to get in front of your community and be a part of that. And keep going, right? After you post that video, a thing that I have to tell myself is leave it. Don't get caught up in the numbers. Like, leave it alone. Just post it and get away from it. Don't say, oh, I kind of look ugly there, or I messed up on this word, or I'm not getting as many views as I want. You just got to leave it alone, really. After you leave it alone, you got to engage with your community, engage with the people that like the video, engage outside the video as well. And so, quick fun fact on Facebook, there's birthdays. That's the only way I remember my best friend's birthday, but that's a fun way to engage with your following with a meaningful touch. Send them happy birthday. Or it has a monthly birthday list where you can also write them a letter, right? If you don't have their address, we're all realtors in here. We all have forewarn. So forewarn your friends and communities, and you get their address and mail them that. Cool. And then last step is just repeating all those steps over and over again.
I love it. Kail, you have 24,000 followers on Instagram. you have TikToks that have gotten millions of views and over 500,000 likes. How does posting on social media, how has that impacted your business? And same thing as Skyler, what do you decide to post? How do you come up with that? Where's the creativity that you come up with that?
Yeah, so, wait, I'm sorry, what was your first question?
My first question, how's it impacted your business?
Oh, how's it? Yeah, so, I mean, social media for me I don't cold call, I don't door knock, it's just not for me. The good thing about real estate is there's so many different ways to do business. And so for me, I'm to the point where social media, most of my business comes from referrals and from my sphere of influence from social media. So, for me, it's building the brand of, now I'm to the point where I have leads or referrals come in from people that I've never even met. I don't know them, but they know my face through social media. And I'm not only posting real estate content, I'm posting about just the lifestyle that I live. And I'm able to build a relationship with them before I even meet them. So, of course, they're willing to give me referrals or leads, when I never even met them. And so, for me, I treat social media like a business. It's a job for me. It's in my schedule daily where I spend, particular time on finding content. It's in my schedule for me to, social media is fun. It's entertaining. It's all that. But if you can switch the mindset to it's a business and a job, you really go a long way. So for me, I spend my Sundays, I spend about 30 minutes to 45 minutes a day going through all of the TikToks and Instagrams that I've maybe saved or video ideas that I've saved. So when I'm studying during the week, I have particular hours in my schedule where I'm studying on social media. I'm following the trends, I'm finding the trends, I'm looking at what other people are doing in other industries and seeing how I can recreate that content to make it my own. So then on Sunday, I go through my categories. On my TikTok and Instagram, I have different categories of content ideas, real estate ideas, health and fitness, things that I can implement in my health and fitness, mindset videos. And then on Sundays, I spend 30 minutes going through those videos. I have a specific folder that I handwrite all of my video ideas on, and I'm referring to those videos in my collections. So my categories on TikTok and Instagram, I pull those out, I study the videos that I've saved, and I study this notebook of ideas that I wrote out, and then that's how I plan my social media for the week. So hopefully that made sense.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing, so I met with everyone beforehand, and when Kail and I were talking, one thing that really stuck out with me was regarding your photos. So when you have a listing going live, your photos. So do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Go into detail a little bit with that.
Yeah, so when I have a listing going live, I do a content day. So thankfully, my brokerage, PJ Morgan, they provide a videographer. His name's Wyatt. He's somewhere around here. I don't know where he's at. And so he comes out. So I schedule everything strategically. It takes about an hour or two. I schedule my photographer. They come out to take the listing photos. I have my assistant come here. She's sitting right in front of me here. She comes out, does a video. And then I have our photographer, Wyatt, come out. He'll do a drone video or whatever video I want him to do. And then, of course, I do my own content. And so the sellers are seeing this team of people coming in and out within that hour period, and they think it's really professional. They think it's impressive to them that you have a team of people coming in as professional. So it's really, our whole team does that now, and we get endless compliments of, wow, I was really impressed with the people that you had coming in and out, the team, the systems you had, and those systems are impressive to sellers. So.
That was one of my favorite things out of reaching out to all of you guys. Like, that's one of the things that resonated the most with me, was just taking an opportunity where you're already getting the photos done. Why don't you impact that and magnify it and make it so much bigger and just help it grow your business? So thank you for sharing that with us. Brittney. Brittney is amazing at marketing. I'm sure you guys all know her. You've already received a couple emails from her today. She's great.
Back to back even, sorry guys.
And I think with her, you can feel her personality in the email. So can you kind of go over that and like how you create that and how you can do that just through words on a computer screen?
Yeah. Okay, so if you have been in the business, I've been in the business 7 years. So if you're back from when my OG years, I used to flip I've gotten old and decrepit. I can't do flips anymore. So I had to get a little bit more creative. And part of that is through just, I want, like, the people that engage with you, the clients that we attract, are because they like you for who you are. So like what Skyler's saying, what Kail's saying, like, be in your video. If you're be in whatever it is that you're doing and have your personality in it, if you're not a part of it, like, they're gonna meet you at some point. So like, if you're afraid they're not gonna like you, they might not like you. Like, we want to attract the people, that we want to work with. So get in front of the camera, put your face on it. Don't be afraid to be silly. I think that's really, a lot of the emails I do are, because I think they make me laugh. I hope they make you guys laugh. I laugh the whole time. I'm like searching the GIF or GIF or however you say it, and I laugh and I post it in there and I'm like, oh, people are gonna love this. And then you guys reply and I'm like, yes, thank you. So you're feeding the madness, honestly, just by replying and thinking I'm funny. My team, I do a lot of like sound check, like, is this funny? And they're like, no, it's not funny. I'm like, perfect, it's great, I'm sending it. Like, so things like that, like, don't be afraid to be silly. People love you, they want to be you. They don't need you to be Brittney, and they don't need you to be Kail. They need you to be you. And we talk a lot about that on my team, is I'm not trying to make a team of little Brittneys. There's enough of me. I need you to be who you are. So that's a really, really big thing if you get anything from today. Go do you and be really good at that.
Cool. Thank you. I'm going to shift more into clients and listings a little bit more. Last night I got to go to a dinner with all of you guys, and my face still hurts from laughing with Nico and Megan. So I can't imagine how it is at like listing appointments when you're with your client. When you're at those listing appointments, what sets you apart, Nico in particular?
For me?
For you? What sets you apart? What does your listing presentation look like compared to maybe other real estate agents?
So my listing presentation approach is a little old school, but it works, and that's why we haven't really changed it. So I do a two-step listing process, and I explain that to the clients when they reach out to me, even if they're past clients, referrals, people I've never met. So we do a pre-CMA where I go out to the home, meet with them, it's pretty informal, I take a lot of notes, have them walk me around, and I'm like just trying to get them to explain like reasons why they love the home. Why did you pick this home? If there were things about this home you could change, what would you change? And also going over things they think might be important that they need to do prior to listing, or things that I think are important prior to listing, and then trying to figure out what their expectations are as well. And then I don't have a set script, it's just more of a pretty relaxed conversation. And also when I'm in their home, kind of creepy, but I'm looking around at things they have like on the walls, or events that they went to, and trying to pull some sort of similarities there to help with the conversation. And then before I leave, I schedule the full CMA, so I go back out within 24 to 72 hours. So I always say I go back to my office, I put everything together, and when I go back out, I sit down with them and I have a booklet, and I say, briefly, we're going to talk about me and the services that we provide and the expectations you can expect from our office. And as much as I love to talk about myself, I'm not here to talk about me, we're here to talk about your home. So I briefly go through that, kind of give them who I am, what we do, what they can expect while they're on the market, through our checklist and our systems and our process, all that. And then we get to, the market side standpoint, talk about, timeline of when they want to put their home on the market, discussing what the value of the home, where they want to list it at. And then I don't bring the paperwork with me, so I know the last guy was like, bring the paperwork with you. I don't bring the paperwork with me. I did it once and it backfired, and I'm very superstitious, so I never did it again. But I always like to, if I can and possible, I like to get all of my listing contracts signed in person. So by the time, before we even hit the market, I've had 3 in-person meetings and gotten to know these people very well. And during the COVID craze, I noticed getting the listing agreement signed in person when we could, it really took the commission talk off the table, because people were not comfortable talking about it face to face. It's a lot easier to call you on the phone, or even a lot easier to email you about it too. So it was kind of a win-win. So I think I answered. Did I do it all?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And how many homes have you sold this year, Nico?
This year, pending and closed, we have 68 transactions so far, from January to now.
And you have time to meet with them 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. And then I'm a notary, so I actually go and get my own deed set signed too with them, which I think that's the most exciting part, because as a seller, that's their closing. Like, that's it. They're not going to go to the closing table. And that's a fun time. We'll go over, sometimes bring a bottle of wine, sit down, sign all the docs, notarize it, and we drink bottle 2, 3, 4, I don't know, sometimes. And it's just it's a fun experience. And it's nice for them because they don't have to schedule a time between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, go into, leave work or leave whatever they're doing, go somewhere with somebody they don't know and go through this process. You can go to them when they're off work, when they're at home after they gave the kids dinner, and it's a lot more relaxing for them as well. So I'm really just, my whole mindset and goal is I'm just trying to make this process as easy as possible. Moving is extremely stressful, and I think as a realtor it should be required that you move at least, every 3 to 5 years, just to remember how much of a pain in the ass it is. And so if we can make this process just that much easier for them, I think it works.
I love it. Megan, you sell a lot of real estate. I've heard rumors that you don't use a CRM. How do you keep track of everything? How do you keep your head afloat? And I think a lot of the people on the Briley team, they just want to know how you're able to do it all in the 24 hours that we have in any given day. What's your superpower?
I don't have a superpower. I do have a CRM system. It is an Excel spreadsheet. And it works for me. So I've tried every single CRM system. I've tried Follow Up Boss. I've tried Top Producer. I've tried Buffini, all those. And I just didn't use them. Part of me thinks I didn't spend the time setting them up, which I think is important. But I've just always used Excel. It works for me. I have it organized. I'm extremely diligent in what I do on a regular basis and very disciplined. So I have list of stuff to do. I prospect every day. I look at my spreadsheet for my pending contracts every day. And I'm very systematic in what I have to do in a certain day. And I don't go to bed until I have everything done. So I don't really have a superpower. I just am organized and do what I say I'm going to do.
Was it tough for you to give up some responsibility and hand that over to your assistant?
Yes. I'm extremely OCD. I've gotten somewhat better, but I'm still actively involved in every single aspect. She does help me tremendously. She's been with me for 6 years. She does a lot of stuff in one day. But I feel like the client hired me, so I want to make sure I'm involved in every step of the process from the first time I meet with them all the way until after closing.
I love it. Brittney, you started off as a solo agent. You've taken yourself, you've grown to a team. What was the deciding factor for you to decide to take that jump? So it's a big decision.
It is. When I first got licensed, I was on my mom's team, and then when we had switched brokerages, we decided we were gonna do our own thing. She's still my mom, still love her. We just decided we're gonna do our own thing, and so at that time, I'm obsessed with Megan Owens. She's like my idol. So I was like, I'm gonna be like Megan. I'm gonna sell all the houses, and I'm gonna do it by myself. I'm like, Megan does it by herself. I can do it by myself. Well, my ceiling, I think, is a little bit lower of my individual capacity than where Megan's is at. And so it got to the point where it was 2020, and I want to go help more people. How can I go serve more clients without it only being on my shoulders and only being me? And so probably one of the best things I ever did was start the team, because now it's so much fun to be able to pour into other people's lives and get to see their lives change and blossom because of what real estate does for us. And we get to go help way more people than I could have just done individually. So it really wasn't out of a need of I want a big team and I want to have all these things. It was more we want to go help more people, and how can we do that and still service them at the highest level as if I was doing it by myself.
So do you have employees that help you? Who are your employees, and how do they help serve you and your clients?
Yeah. So Liv, I don't know where she's going to be somewhere flashing a flashlight at me because we have something later too. So Liv is our director of marketing and client care. So Liv is
she writes all the emails.
I should let Liv write the emails. Liv should write the emails. That should be Liv's job. I just am obsessed with things I shouldn't be. I hold on to things I should let go of. And then Erica is our transaction coordinator, director of operations. We are hiring, so if anyone knows of somebody, let us know. And then Sydney and I are the two producing agents on the team.
Okay, cool. Kail, you're similar. How many people do you have on your team? What are their roles, and how has this impacted and grown your business? 'Cause how long have you been in real estate?
I've been in real estate almost 4 years.
Okay.
It'll be 4 years in March
Okay.
of next year, and so we.
And your team's already selling over 100 homes.
Yes. Yep. So there's three agents. It's my mom. She's an OG. She's been doing this 25 years almost. Her name's Dee Dee Oliver. Hey, Mom. And then we have. She's embarrassed. I just embarrassed her. And then we have one of my best friends, Keaton Hutchinson. He's been an agent for about 2.5 years now. And then we have our full-time assistant right here, Allie, who's recording me for future content. And so we're not the traditional team. My mom, Keaton, and I are really business partners. She's, by experience, my mom is the team leader. And so we really have a good working relationship together. We more so market together. It's really powerful when I'm on a listing appointment and I can say, when you work with one of us, you work with all of us. You work with my mom, you work with Keaton, and then we have a full-time assistant making sure all of our shit is in order. So, because me, my mom, and Keaton, we are a mess. And Allie is the glue to everything here. So we just know how to work together.
That's awesome. And you've got Rise Omaha, the real estate team, and then you've also got, can you explain a little bit Rise Omaha with your volunteering and all of that, and how that's impacted your life and everyone else around you?
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2018, I was living in Kansas City, and I was studying real estate, making sure it was really what I wanted to do. As you guys know, 13% of people that get in this business actually stay in this business and succeed in this business. So I was making sure it was what I wanted to do. And doing that research, I realized, there was about 3,000 agents in Omaha at the time. I knew there was a lot of people. How can I separate myself? And we all know networking is important in any business. So, as I was going to networking events, getting my name out there, I was realizing that these networking events really, they weren't for me. They were kind of stale, kind of boring, and it felt like a chore. A chore is like, you have to do chores, but you don't want to do it. I knew I had to network, but I didn't want to go to these events. So I figured I was going to start my own. It's a good way to stand out. So Rise Omaha is what me and my business partner Keaton created. 2 years later, he gets into real estate. We formed the Rise Omaha Real Estate Group. So our point with Rise Omaha is we're Omaha's premier networking experience. From real estate agents to entrepreneurs, business owners, creatives. We just want to get a bunch of people in the same room that have the same ambitions, the same drives, and just help each other grow. We feel Omaha is a very underrated city. And we want to help the city grow. Part of our mission, besides hosting the best networking events you've been to, is also we give back to the community. Allie's father passed away from cancer about 10 years ago, so we give back to our community every year. We do a charity walk where we donate the money. Our events will bring in, we try to ask people to bring in food, donations, things like that. So part of our mission is just to give back and to help everybody win, because we all come together, we can all grow together.
I love it. Going on to client interaction, Megan, you're very disciplined. You know who you've been in touch with, who you need to get in touch with. 95% of your business comes from either past clients or referrals from that. So do you spend any money on marketing? Like outbound marketing, maybe not on, okay. With that, how do you keep in touch with the amount of homes that you sell? How do you remember people and keep in touch with them and make them feel like you're their only client when clearly they're not?
So I have a really calm, upbeat personality when I'm with clients. So I can separate, when I'm with a client, I can separate everything else. It doesn't affect me when I'm going from client to client. So if this client, something happened with this, I don't bring it to the next one. I don't know how I can remember stuff, but I just remember little details, and I think that's what makes a client feel special is, okay, yeah, you're selling them a house or you're helping them with their listing, but what do you remember about them? And how are you going to make them feel special? So I do a ton of things, whether it's, when they get engaged, I'll send them a picture of their engagement photo or brownies or whatever it is. And I find all of that stuff through social media or like word of mouth. So yes, I'm using social media, but I'm also using it to connect with my clients. I connect with them on there, but more importantly, I connect with them off of there. So I'll call them and say, oh my gosh, I just saw you got engaged. Like, how exciting, tell me about it, or whatever it is. So any little thing that I can do to make that client feel special, they're gonna remember that more so than what you did to sell their home or how you got them a home. They're gonna remember that you took the time to know them personally.
So you're not just liking their Facebook post, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 steps farther and really kind of digging your roots into their lives, correct?
Yeah. And, like, I'll pop by with a bottle of champagne, like, I'll do anything so I can get in front of them.
Do you have just items in your car at any given time? I mean, you have a lot of past clients. I don't know how, it seems like you're always dropping things off or sending things, and how are you able to do that?
Yeah. So I do buy things in bulk, yes. And I'm like so cheap. Like if something's on clearance and I'm like, oh, this is a good price, I can use this as a pot buy. Like I'll buy that stuff and buy it in bulk. I have champagne all the time, pretty much. I'll wrap a bow on it. I always have note cards. But I use this, I just learned about this thing like maybe a year or two ago. Some of you know about it, but it's called send out cards. And it is my absolute favorite thing ever. It's an app, it's online, but you can add a photo to it, you can send gifts, and it's in your handwriting. So if I'm thinking about it and I don't have time that day to go drop something off, I'll do it on the app or have Kylie do it, and I'll put their photo on it of whatever the event was, write, a note, and then
where are you getting that photo again?
On Facebook or Instagram or wherever. Anytime I see a cute photo, I'm sending them a note, like whatever it is, even if I just sent them one like a month ago, like I'm sending it because they're not going to throw that away, right? It has your name on the back, and they're going to put it on their fridge or in a frame or wherever, and then every time they look at it, or if they have friends come over, they're like, oh my gosh, cute picture, whatever. They're like, yeah, my realtor sent that to me. So any little thing that you can do, but that app is awesome. It's my favorite app.
Sweet. Did everyone write that down? Can you say it again, Megan?
It's send out cards.
It's awesome. It's not very expensive either, if I remember correctly.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's relatively inexpensive. I'm not sure how much it is, but I think there's like a small setup fee, and then it's like, honestly, I have no idea. I don't spend a ton of money on anything, so if you can look it up, I don't know.
Sweet. Now, after the transaction, Nico, what are you doing with your past
I
clients?
disappear. Never see them again.
I feel like a lot of real estate agents do that, though. I think it's easy to just get a paycheck and kind of move on and not have a basis below the transaction. So how are you getting to that point and creating the relationships that it is lasting?
My Achilles heel is I've never done a client appreciation party, and people always get mad at it. Every year I'm like, all right, next year we're going to do a client appreciation party. So 2023, we're going to prepare for one in 2024.
So
I'm
Nico
really
does
excited about that.
Nico does the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing at
Pretty
all
much
times, and he
everything
still
Megan
kills
said,
it.
I don't know. I do a lot of Popeyes during the transaction. For example, like after that pre-CMA process, what I do is I go back to my office, and one thing I forgot to mention is I handwrite a thank you note, like, hey, thank you for allowing me to come out to your home. Really appreciate it. Just something really sweet, simple. And then we go pick up, some cookies from Eileen's Cookies, or the, what's it called? No, not Crumble. Those are from my office. There's like these really cool gourmet-looking candies that you can get. It's like a breakfast place down in West Side. I forgot the name of it, but they look like almost like jewelry. They're really cool.
Oh, cool.
So we'll drop something like that. We'll drop that off. But then, I would say post-transaction, what me and my wife do a lot of is just a lot of like dinners or happy hours, or even traveling. We got invited to one client's wedding this past weekend in Chicago. Just stuff like that. So we do a lot of like intimate, one-on-one type settings, or we have Husker tickets, so we'll bring some clients down to the Husker games, things like that. So I don't really do one big group event. It's just like a consistent, who people that we're working with or recently worked with, just taking them out, entertaining, and then just kind of just staying in touch with, we do a quarterly newsletter, which we started doing this year, where we partner up with a local company that's like, so we did Harvest Bread Company back in March, and they got a coupon and they could go in and get some Irish soda bread for free, and just stuff like that too. And I mean, it's that little mailer that went out, and here's brief market stats, here's some events going on in the next few months in Omaha that you could attend. You go get some free Irish soda bread. So many, like, tons of text. Thanks for the bread. I mean, I had no idea it'd go that well. So, I mean, we just do a gamut of little things here and there. Because, again, our business, I would say, is 95, 98% referral.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Megan does a lot better job.
As I don't know if any of you guys know, I have 2 kids, 3.5, 1.5, and I tried to get some context from the crowd to see what they wanted to hear from everyone up here. And I think one of the biggest issues people see in real estate is the work-life balance. It's hard. You've got mom guilt all the time. There are no parents up here, but we have 3 kids here who have grown up and even seen their parents in the industry. Were crazy enough to join and become a real estate agent. Kail has said his mom, he works with his mom. Nico, his dad, Ralph, was a legend in Omaha, will always be a legend in the real estate industry. And then Brittney with Sheila. What can you tell the audience to make them feel better about the guilt that I think a lot of people feel by working nights, working weekends, having your phone always available?
Look at us, we turned out okay. I'll take this and then I'll have to go off stage.
Yeah.
But so one thing that I tell my mom all the time is how thankful I am that I got to see her work that hard. A lot of you know the fun, crazy Sheila, and you probably didn't see, the behind the curtain growing up with Sheila. My mom has a really, really crazy story, her upbringing and her life, and I'm gonna cry, oh my God. What she was able to provide for my sister and I is a complete 180 from what she had growing up. And so watching her provide for us and work her butt off, and real estate being the vehicle to do that, I mean, I am the weird kid. I wanted to be a real estate agent since I was 11, which is when my mom got in real estate. And it was because I knew that if I could outwork anyone that I was up against, and it wouldn't matter that there's no ceiling. You can go do whatever you want if you work hard. And I mean, we laugh because we had a lot of crock pot meals growing up. We ate a lot of roast and Stouffer's lasagna. But it was delicious, and we turned out just fine, so.
So my parents got divorced when I was 1 year old. So when I would spend time with my dad, he would be, working. So growing up in that environment, it never really felt like work. It just felt like that was normal life. That's just kind of what you did. And watching what he was able to build in real estate, watching how hard he worked, and then also, something that my father did that was really amazing was his charitable side, and watching how much joy and happiness that brought him. And kind of, he told me once we were talking about it, and he's like, I think part of the reason why I'm so successful is the fact that you have to give back. I think it's very, very crucial that you have to give back. And he was very goal oriented. He always would set goals, and so he would have his work goals, but then also he would translate that back to goals for us. So when he would hit, say if it was a quarterly goal, and if he hit that quarterly goal, we were going to go on a vacation, or an annual goal, we're going to Disney World, just things like that. So then kind of got me, and I'm an only child, got me, I keep saying us, it's just me. Just me. Sometimes my alter ego. But it would engage me into the business, and kind of taught me from early on about goal setting, and then I try to, that's something I want to carry forward when I have a family too, is I want to set family goals for us, and help my children understand that, that you have to make sacrifices, but the sacrifices we're making are something to help build something bigger than ourselves. And I mean, the reason I got into real estate plan sales, my dad was the coolest dude in the whole world, and when I was a kid, I wanted to be just like him. My mom told me this story, I never knew this happened, but I must have been 2 years old, and my dad was taking me back to my mom's house, and I was in the back in the car seat. My dad was on the phone, and anyone who knows my dad know he had a really, really big heart, but he also had a very, very big Italian temper. And he was just going off on somebody on the phone about something, and he was yelling and cursing, and then he hangs up the phone, and he looked up in the rearview mirror, and I'm just sitting there like wide-eyed, like what just happened? He forgot I was back there. And I was like, Dad, you okay? And he's like, I'm just selling real estate. So he dropped me off at my mom's house. We have dinner with my grandparents, and after dinner, I go into the other room, pick up a cell phone, I'm walking around like, you're gonna fucking class, blah, blah, blah. And I start screaming into the phone, and my mom is like, Nico Zane, what are you doing? I'm like, just selling real estate. So I think that was pretty much it. That's when they knew.
Kail?
Yeah, so my mom, I remember her just saying, she got into real estate. She was in the nursing industry before. I mean, this was, 23 years ago at this point, but she was having a hard time figuring out how to drop 2 kids off at daycare and school and pick them up with a nursing schedule. So she got into real estate to provide a better life for us kids. So, she was like, the reason I got into real estate, she's, she always tells me the stories of, I just remember going out to open houses with her and sitting in the backyard just playing around and going to the offices. She was with MP Dodge at the time. There was a little office over in Council Bluffs, and I remember she used to take me and my sister there, and we would just run around. This was after hours, so she would, take us there after she was a nurse, and then we would go there in the evenings while she was trying to transition in from, going into full-time in real estate. After hours, 8, 9 o'clock, we would just be running around the office, me and my sister. I remember I would steal candy and eat it underneath the sink in the kitchen. So she doesn't know that part, but now she does. Just the fact of having my mom be there and seeing the reason why she did this is, a lot of the reason why I did this. She did it for her family, and she's still doing it to this day. So now we get to work together, and it's awesome. So.
And I'm sure your mom at the moment probably thought, I feel so bad. They're not at home on time. And you think of it the complete opposite. Like, I had so much fun hanging out with my mom.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think it's just always kind of thinking of that. We're going to be ending here. I wanted to end with a lot of the phone calls I've been making. The C word is coming up all the time. Housing market crash. How are you guys taking those conversations and making your clients and future clients feel comfortable with maybe, I don't even want to call it a change or anything, just with the market right now in Omaha? Megan, do you want to start?
I'll start. I think our clients feed off of us. So if you are doom and gloom, like, your clients are going to be doom and gloom. I think we have a responsibility to our clients to really educate them on what actually is going on in our industry and as a whole. So we're their real estate advisor, right? So you have to look at each situation individually, and sometimes it's going to make sense. Yeah, that makes sense to move or do whatever. And then if it doesn't make sense, you need to be honest with them. Like, yes, you want this price. I probably cannot get you this price. You want this to go onto this. Well, that doesn't make sense right now. Like, do you need to wait? Or you're, crazy not to be moving right now. Yes, the interest rates are up, but it's short term, and you have XYZ equity in your house, and you can get, XYZ price on this house. Like, so really educating them and being their trusted advisor and making sure that you are staying positive when everything else seems as though it's negative from the news or whatever it is. So I don't know if I answered the question.
Skyler, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's educating them too that there's more options than just like conventional loans or FHA. Like, they can do 2-1 buy down, they can do an ARM loan, and really understand that process. So when that comes up, hey, if they were holding back because they didn't want the conventional rate, that they can still buy that house with a different program, and just meeting with lenders and understanding their programs and how you can connect them.
Yeah, for me, it's just educating them, just like these two said. I mean, I think there's nobody really knows what's going to happen in the industry. I think there's only one person that knows, and that's the man above. So you can get all the clickbait and all the real estate crashes. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Nobody knows. I'm just telling my clients right now, the best time to buy or sell real estate is not based on market conditions. It's based on when you're ready. So that's the biggest thing for me, is just there's no right or wrong time to buy or sell real estate. It's when you're ready to invest in real estate. So
I and, you know, going what Megan touched on too is bringing in, you know, your emotion to, you know, with your clients is your demeanor needs to be calm and upbeat. But also just, you know, I just, you know, say we're trending back to more of a normal market. I mean, you still have tremendous equity in your home. Every day there are people relocating. Every day there are people that are getting promoted and want a bigger home. Every day, unfortunately, there's people getting divorced that need to buy homes. So there's always going to be somebody looking to buy a home at any given time. And, you know, also just, you know, I think some of the arguments that we've had are people like, well, I'm losing money. I'm not getting, you know, I'm losing money. Like, no, you're still getting a lot of money for your home. You can't lose something you never had. You still have a lot of equity in your home. And it's just taking a little bit more patience and time. What we found is just, as long as you're staying in communication, we talk with our sellers at least once a week. We have seller calls. We talk about feedback. We talk about market conditions. As long as you're staying in touch with your clients, as long as you're doing all the marketing, as long as you're doing the job you're supposed to be doing, they're going to be fine. Because at the end of the day, we can't create the market. All we can do is market the property and do our best to make sure that everyone can see it, plain and simple.
I think people forget, even us sometimes, like the past couple of years, that has been a anomaly of a situation. Like if we go back 3 years, the market is the same as what it is today minus rates. So yes, it's a little bit slower of a time, but it's our normal time. So I think people forget the past couple of years have just been unusual, and our normal regular market is the same as what it was a couple years ago, and I think people forget that.
I always make a joke with my sellers, hey, your house might not sell that weekend, but if you sell it in 2 weeks, is it the end of the world? No. You're still getting top dollars. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you took something away from this. Thank you for our panelists. Also, if you want to follow them on social media, all their hashtags and their whatever those things are, they're all right there. Go follow them, show them some love. And I think another thing too with social media, we all see each other because we're all in real estate, so we all follow each other, but your clients don't see 30, 40, 50 other real estate agents, so just post. And if you can, like your coworkers and everyone else's stuff, just to kind of give them that feedback too. So thank you, everyone.